degradation of amino acids, carbon skeletons. Amino acids are converted to pyruvate, acetoacetate, acetyl-CoA, or intermediates in the citric acid cycle. After the amino group is removed, the carbon chains from 20 amino acids can be degraded by some degradation to one of the four substances between the citric acid cycle, while the other is degraded to pyruvate, and the other becomes acetyl-CoA or acetate. Each amino acid follows its own pathway to one or more of these 7 compounds.
Amino acid catabolism. The first step in amino acid degradation is often removal of the alpha amino group. Next, the carbon chains are altered in specific ways for entry into the central pathway of carbon metabolism. Please take a look at this reaction. This is the degradation of amino acids in general. The carbon skeletons of amino acids are converted to pyruvate, acetoacetate, acetyl-CoA, or citric acid cycle intermediates. First, let's talk about alanine, asparagine, aspartate, and glutamate and glutamine. Alanine, aspartate, and glutamate. Alanine, aspartate, and glutamate are synthesized by reversible transamination reaction. The breakdown of these 3 amino acids involves their re-entry into the pathway from which their carbon skeletons arose. Alanine gives rise to the pyruvate, aspartate to oxaloacetate, and glutamate to alpha-ketoglutarate by reversal of the original transamination reaction. All 3 amino acids are glucogenic, since aspartate and glutamate are converted to citric acid cycle intermediates and alanine is to pyruvate. Next is about arginine, proline, and histidine. The pathway for the degradation of arginine and histidine and proline convert on glutamate. In the case of arginine and proline, the degradation pathway resembles the biosynthesis pathway. Arginine degradation commences with the reaction with catalyzed by arginase and then produce ornithine. The ornithine that produced is transaminated to glutamate 5-semialdehyde, which is oxidized to form glutamate. Proline is converted to glutamate in 3 steps. The first step is an oxidation reaction that catalyzed by the FED containing enzyme proline dehydrogenase. The electron's acceptor is sometimes molecular oxygen, although other acceptor can be used. This is the oxygen. The product of the first reaction is pyrroline 5-carboxylate, or P5C, that exists in equilibrium with the open chain form, which is glutamate 5-semialdehyde. Glutamate 5-semialdehyde is converted to glutamate by the action of an added plus H2O and release an added H plus 2H plus. Note that the conversion of the pyrroline 5-carboxylate to the glutamate 5-semialdehyde is spontaneous, as in the proline synthesis pathway. The major pathway for the histidine degradation also produces glutamate. Histidine undergoes non-oxidative deamination, hydration, and ring opening to form N-formimino-glutamate. This is the three reactions. The three reactions are non-oxidative deamination, hydration, and ring opening to form this one. The formimino moiety, or this group, is then transferred to tetrahydrofolate and forming 5-formimino tetrahydrofolate and glutamate. There are two pathways for the breakdown of serine. A small amount of serine is converted directly to pyruvate by the action of serine dehydratase, a PLP-dependent enzyme. Most serine, however, is converted to glycine by the action of serine hydroxymethyltransferase. This is the same reaction that results in synthesis of glycine in the biosynthesis pathway, and its reaction that produces 5-10-methylene tetrahydrofolate, or THF. Some glycine can be converted to serine by reverse reaction of serine hydroxymethyltransferase, and the glycine carbon atoms can end up in pyruvate when the serine molecules are deaminated. However, the major pathway for degradation of glycine in all species is conversion to ammonia and carbonate by the glycine cleavage system. Catalysis by the glycine cleavage system requires an enzyme complex that containing 4 non-identical subunits. First is PLP, lipoamide, VHD are prosthetic groups, and N-adaptase and tetrahydrofolate are co-substrate. Next is threonine. There are several routes for the degradation of threonine. The major pathway, which one, is oxidized to the threonine is oxidized to 2-amino-3-ketobutyrate in a reaction that catalyzed by threonine dehydrogenase. 2-amino-3-ketobutyrate can undergo thiolysis to form acetyl-CoA and glycine, and the glycine will convert to the glycine cleavage system. And the second one, the threonine, is cleaved into the acetaldehyde and glycine by the action of threonine aldolase. Threonine aldolase is actually a minor activity of serine hydroxymethyltransferase in many tissues and organisms. Acetaldehyde can be oxidized to acetate by the action of acetaldehyde dehydrogenase, and acetate can be converted to acetyl-CoA by acetyl-CoA synthetase. This can be processed in another pathway. Same with the glycine will be converted into the glycine cleavage system. The third pathway for the threonine metabolism is the amination to alpha-ketobutyrate. This reaction is catalyzed by serine dehydratase and will produce alpha-ketobutyrate for synthesis of isoleucine in the most species. Alpha-ketobutyrate can be converted to propionyl-CoA in the gradative pathway, and this propionyl-CoA is a precursor of the citric acid cycle intermediate succinyl-CoA. Then, threonine can produce either succinyl-CoA or glycine plus acetyl-CoA depending on the pathway by which it is degraded, because it has several ways to degradation of karbon. Now we talk about the tryptophan. The indole ring of tryptophan has a more complex degradation pathway that includes two ring opening reaction. The major route of the tryptophan catabolism in the liver and many microorganisms leads to alpha ketoadipate and ultimately to acetyl-CoA. Alanine, produced early in the tryptophan catabolism, is transaminated to pyruvate. The catabolism of tryptophan is both ketogenic and glucogenic. Okay, we go to the last one is lysine. The main pathway for the degradation of lysine generates the intermediate saccharophene, the product of the condensation of alpha-ketoglutarate with lysine. Sequential oxidation reaction produce alpha-amino adipate that loses its amino groups by transamination with alpha-ketoglutarate, become alpha-ketoadipate. Alpha-ketoadipate is subsequently converted to acetyl-CoA by the same steps that occur in the degradation of tryptophan. Like leucine, lysine is ketogenic. For your information, leucine and lysine are the only common amino acids that are purely ketogenic.
In amino acid catabolism, when amino acids that are degraded to pyruvate or citric acid circle intermediates are called glucogenic because they can directly supply the pathway of gluconeogenesis. The pathways of amino acid degradation beginning with the simplest routes. Our aim is to show how the carbon atoms of each amino acid reach glucogenic metabolites, pyruvate and citric acid circle intermediates.
Amino acid ketogenic is that from acetyl-CoA or acetoacetate can contribute to the formation of fatty acid or ketone bodies. And also, amino acid ketogenic definition is can be converted into ketone by the process of ketogenesis. Some amino acid can be converted into acetyl-CoA, and then sometimes acetyl-CoA is converted into acetoacetate. The example of the ketogenic amino acid are lysine and leucine, because they cannot produce glucose. When blood glucose is at low levels, acetoacetate is consumed by the brain as a source of energy.